Yeah, this is fine. It's fine. It's just literally just the VR is not firing up, and it never normally does that. So all I can do is turn it off and on again.
I think people might be able to hear you. I think they can also hear me now.
Yeah,
So
have to reset it, mate.
right. So yeah, that's fine. You go reset, and I'll talk to everyone on the stream.
Starting now.
Okay, see you in a minute. So, hi everyone. Hopefully you can hear me, and you can hear the cool Halloween music. So, even though we started 15 minutes late, we're still having technical issues. So Spanners couldn't get his VR to work. So he will be back in a moment. Just let me know if you guys can hear me. Yeah, you can. Alex Manjing. Awesome. Okay. So we're just going to let Spanners log out, log back in. I think he's doing like a full reset. But that's good. So hopefully you like my cool Halloween music. That'll go away in a minute. And we'll have some different Halloween music. But yeah, just thought we'd make it like a bit of a Halloween special. Since we're at the Green Hell. Does Spanners have a new wheel? Potentially. I'll let him tell you about that. So we'll just wait for him to log back in. But until then, just fire in some questions. Say hello. Let me know if the music's too loud or whatever. I can turn it down. But once Spanners is back, hopefully we'll be able to chat. We were having an issue as well where he kept not being able to hear me. So I'd be chatting to him. But I think it's his VR disconnecting or reconnecting. It was like taking away his headphones. So.
Mic check.
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can't hear you again, bro.
Ugh, okay.
No, I've got you. I've got you now.
Okay, cool.
Now it's just a case of whether it connects to my VR.
So hopefully your video will... I'm just going to disconnect and reconnect in here because your video's in the wrong position. But then I'll be back. How do I reposition who's... Because now you're on the right and I'm on the left, and that's the wrong position for my stream. So the music's too loud, okay. It's so weird the way this works, right? Because for me, the music is really quiet and in the background, so I don't know why you guys are hearing it so loud. Right, the music's down really low now. Spanners, are you sending video?
Yeah, I lost you again. I think it's the same thing.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, we're in the wrong order in this room now, and I don't know how you change round, so you're on the left, I'm on the right.
I'll try leaving.
No, you're still on the right. How weird. You were on the left before, and that's how I had it all set up for the stream.
Sorry, man. I've never actually used Discord with OBS before.
But your video isn't on at the moment either.
No, I'm letting it connect to the game first, and then...
Okay, that's fine. We've got like a reasonably close-up Spanners cam at the moment. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, coach.
Cool, okay. So, fingers crossed it doesn't keep making it so you can't hear me.
We've got game chat as a backup.
Okay, now we have no Spanners cam. Ugh. Ugh. I hate computers. Why has it suddenly lost the Spanners cam? Right, we got Spanners back.
We live?
Yeah, we are, but it lost the Spanners cam, and I'm having to put all this back in again.
All right, but can they can't. They are not hearing anything yet.
They can hear everything. They can hear anything I can hear. So we are both live.
All of the issues are Brad's fault, and none of them are caused by me and everything going wrong on at my end. Oh, I'm in. Do I have to pick up setup?
No, it's the default setup. Right, Spanner's cam is back. Nearly.
Okay. Tell me when you want me to start saying the things I want to say to your stream. And should I get in the car?
Yes, say whatever you want now. Right, Spanner's cam is back. I'm just going to live with it how it is now.
Hello? Hi.
Right, so I'm just going to explain to the people who are asking in the stream what this is. Right, so this is Spanners. If you don't know Spanners, he's the host of Missed Apex podcast. And you should know Spanners because if you've watched any of the stuff I've done, you'll have definitely seen him. He doesn't like the Nürburgring, but he also doesn't know the Nürburgring. And we're going to take an hour or so, however long he has, to try and persuade him that the Nürburgring's actually really good. And, people are asking if you can see the chat, Spanners. Can you see the chat?
I can't see the chat. No, but it's okay.
You could if you had a YouTube window open, but you're going to be in VR and stuff, so there's no point. Yeah. So I'll just tell you if anything important happens. So basically, I'm not going to do any driving unless I absolutely have to in a little while. I've already set one lap time, so I've done a 6:36. I'm not suggesting Spanners aims for that in the slightest. All this is to do right now is to try and roughly have some kind of idea where the track goes. Now, Spanners, you mentioned to me on a WhatsApp message that you wanted damage turned off. I haven't turned damage off, but I'm going to explain why. If you've not driven this track before, well, you haven't even owned this track before, so you won't know this, there are different reset points around the Nordschleife. So unlike on a normal iRacing track where if you crash, you have to reset from the pit lane, in this track, it will restart you from 5 or 6 different points around the track. So I wanted there to still be some kind of deterrent to just hitting the barrier, and I wanted you to learn from the times where you've broken the car, because it will be more of a learning process if you've actually smashed it to pieces. So
what about healing mode? Isn't that a thing?
I didn't see that on the options, so I think it'd be pointless because you'd be driving around for however long with a half broken car, which is almost impossible in the Nürburgring anyway. So if you crash the car, just hit reset. It'll put you 200 meters back, and then just try that bit again. Just bear in mind your tires will be cold. That's all. So you're on the default setup, full fuel, and that seems quite benign and fine for this car around this track. I mean, obviously we're in the Mercedes AMG GT3. People are saying nice wheel, Spanners. He better talk about the new wheel. And can you ask if there'll be an iRacing podcast this week?
So the reason we cancelled the iRacing pod was just because I was not well at the beginning of the week, unfortunately. But yes, we will talk all things that. And I'm sure we'll have time to talk about that during this stream as well. So I'm out on track. Can you see me yet?
No, weirdly, I can't see you at all, Spanners, which is going to be a bit of a problem. I've clicked on you, and all I've got is scenic. So not quite sure why I can't see you.
So currently, I'm driving around a very narrow track. It looks like I'm on my way to the village store. Yeah, it's because I wasn't on the right time period. So let's go on board with you, and I'll try and do some talking. So I'm going to need to turn down the car volume, otherwise people won't hear me. But yeah, so basically you're on the industry farting version of the track, and that means this is the version where car companies do their testing. So when you see a lap time set by Porsche or whoever, it's on this version of the track. So it's a full circuit. You don't have to stop in the tourist pits. And you're in the first section, which is T13 to Swedenkreuz. So obviously you've just started anyway, so we'll cover the bits you've done before later on. But this section you're on now is a long, fast section up to a corner called Swedenkreuz. So this next corner you're going to want to definitely slow down a bit for, and the following corner is a hairpin right. Now I don't know quite how delayed I am behind what you're seeing, so let's work that out, because we're not on spotting mode. I'm going under the Yokohama now.
Okay, so I'm only about 1.5 seconds behind what you're seeing, so that's not too bad. So this section is a fast downhill section called Foxhole. It's flat out through the compression at the bottom, but as you go up the hill, you're going to want to start braking, because there's a pretty tight left, followed by a very tight right-hander, and then an even tighter left-hander. You've done pretty well to get this far without crashing. And luckily, your first reset point is right here. So if you reset, you'll reset to exactly where you currently are. No, just reset, and it'll go back to the point that you're at now.
I don't know how do you reset?
So the same as you normally go back to the pits. So you press and hold whatever button you've got set to.
Oh, no way. That's cool.
There you go. So you're at the corner. Because I explained all this to you. Were you not listening at the start?
No, I wasn't listening.
Okay, right. So at the Nürburgring, because it's so big, you get to reset from various points around the track. So you don't have to go back to the pits. So you're now in Adenauer, really, really tight corners. I don't expect... Oh, you've broken the car already. You probably want to reset. You've just broken it on that curb. Very, very harsh curbs.
Okay, can I just say that is won the first validation. And we should put some context into this, that I've resisted this track forever because I think it's too long and pointless. And already I feel like I'm correct.
You're not correct, but you did just start without me even getting to like teach you the first bit.
No, because I got a bit ahead of the game, you see, because on my way back from Nottingham today, instead of going down the M1 or A1, I did the cross-country route, which I figure is pretty similar to what we're doing now. It looks exactly the same.
Yeah, there's no cars coming the other way, but anyway, right. So you're at Metzgersfeld. This is pretty high section, like a plateau, but you're now going to start going downhill. So you've got a tight right-hander, and then you've got a pretty tight left-hander. There's a lot of elevation change here. You're going to be dropping down about 200 meters down into the next town. So you've got a little kink to the left, and then you've got a long right-hander, which is basically 3 apexes, but just don't go too quickly through it until you're really confident with the shape of these corners.
Is this like the proper Nordschleife then?
Yeah, next corner's slowest one on the track, so you're going to want second gear and really, really slow. Yeah, so even slower.
Where were you 2 seconds ago?
Yeah, so I don't know quite how in the future you are, but you're going to want to reset again. I'm going to turn off the music as well. We probably don't need music. Okay, so you're just like slightly up the hill from where you just crashed. So you've got this triple right-hander. So it's like apex, apex, apex. And then you've got the tightest corner on the track, which is a right-left. And it's a very tight second gear left-hander. It's weird, kind of being in the passenger seat, but slightly delayed. So this corner opens up and you've got a fast section. So you're flat out down the hill here. I'm trying to be 2 seconds ahead of where we actually are. Next corner at the bottom of the hill here is a tight left-hander over the bridge. You're going to go over the main road through the town of Adnar. And then you've got an uphill right-hander. So this is a little bit tight, but stay in third gear. So the next corner is flat out. It's where Nicky Lauda had his big crash. So try and remember that. So this is totally flat out through here. But the corner after this is a hairpin right. Second gear hairpin right. So be really slow into the next one. Once you've navigated this one, you're flat out up the hill for ages. So up this hill, stay in the left. So just stay to the left-hand side. There's no need to open out this. Just take the shortest distance through here. So it kind of goes left, 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 left. And then you can take a racing line. But I don't know quite how far up you are. And that's flat out through here as well.
It's just like the A47 to Peterborough.
It's flat out all the way up through this next section. But the next left-hander is 5th gear and it's not flat out. So this one that you're going through now, 5th gear, yeah, now it's flat. So the moment you've got the car turned in, it's flat. Next right-hander is flat if you're on the right line. So let's see if you do the right line.
I wasn't on the right line.
That's okay. Next one's a hairpin right. So second gear, very, very slow. So you're at Stylestrecker now. The following corner is Carousel, and it's slower than you think. Obviously, you need to use the banking, but it's second gear and super slow. Otherwise, you'll pop out of the banking. Just like that. So if you go in a tiny bit slower than that, it'll really hook you around. Okay, so you're nearly at the highest point.
I get to do it again in 15 minutes.
Yeah, something like that. So you're nearly at the highest point on the track. You've got a couple of 4th gear lefts, and then you've kind of got like a chicane, like a left-right. So you will be going down to 3rd as you crest the hill. Stay in 3rd over the crest and in the next right-hander. Looking good. So you've now got a series of chicanes. So you're going to go right, left, right. This is 4th gear, but just take it easy because it'll be tighter than you think. So you're doing the first right, left, right. We'll teach you the 3 trees method on the next lap. So here's the second right, left, right. This one's a bit tighter and longer. You're hanging on well there. Well done. So this is the left of the right, left, right. And here's the right. So you've now done the second chicane. Next one's really long, but it's still right, left, right. So it's like you're going around a tree. But anyway, we'll talk about that afterwards. We're doing this on the fly. So here's the left part of the right, left, right. It's a bit slower than that. That's okay, because you get to reset from somewhere very, very near here. Because you're in such a quick car, this is kind of, the corners are coming at us quite quickly. Okay, so you're just before the corner you crashed at. So remember, it goes right, left, right. But this one, kind of halfway around this imaginary tree that you're driving around now, it actually like aborts and goes into a little chicane. So it's a bit slower than you thought. I
muted you there. Sorry, Brad.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I just hit the wrong button.
Okay, no problem. So you're now going into a brief, fast section over a jump, but brake just before you get to the jump. So brake and then just carefully get through this right-hander.
Wow.
You're actually doing really well. Okay, be careful through here because I can't really explain it. you're going to need to just know where you're going eventually. Over a blind crest, but after this, it's flat out. So once you've gone over the blind crest, it's totally flat out, but you just got to pick the right line. So you're just going straight as you can between these curbs. Okay, the next right-hander is pretty quick, and then it gets tighter, and then into a tight left. So you're going to slow down a little bit. This left-hander is going to be about 3rd gear. Watch out for the gravel on the exit. Next corner is the small carousel. It's slower than it looks. 3rd gear, but really slow. And try and stick in the groove this time. That's pretty good. Okay, next corner is a long right-hander. Think of it as like a long hairpin. It's 4th gear, but slightly slower than you'd think a 4th gear corner is. And then you're on the Dottinger Höhe, which is the long, long straight. So just... Oh, you've actually managed to break the car on the curb, but ignore it. It's only bodywork damage. So flat out now for ages. You can rest now. You've actually done very well there for a first lap. You didn't spin.
Have we actually done a lap?
No, you've nearly done your out lap.
Right.
So you're like 25 seconds from the end of the out lap. So you're now going to just pick the straightest possible line down here. And as you go under the bridge, keep it flat out. And as you go down the hill, keep it flat out. And as you enter the next chicane, keep it flat out. But brake as it starts to tighten. Because I'm 2 seconds behind you, it's difficult to say exactly when to brake. But it's flat out under the bridge. And just as you go into the right-hand part that's coming up, brake really hard and get all the way down to 2nd gear. Well done. That's really good. So you'll obviously perfect that once you know the shape of this section. Okay, so you've got a really tight right-hander coming up, and that's the end of the lap. So tight right-hander, and that's the end of the lap. You're going to start your first flying lap. So you're at a corner called T13, 2nd gear for turn 1. And then we're going to drop down into Hats and back. First section's flat out, but the next right-hander's not quite flat out. So you might want a little bit of a lift through here. And then you've got a flat out into the left. And then you've got a 3rd gear left-right section. So down to 3rd gear and just basically watch out for the barrier on the exit. Yeah, it's really easy to make it there, but you made it. You didn't actually hit it. Okay, so you can use the inside curb in the right-hander. And that's all right. You'll get it next time. And you can stay in 3rd for this next right-hander. So just take it gently, basically. Go slightly slower than that next time.
I'm sorry, coach.
That's fine. That's fine. So basically, what you need to remember through that whole section is until you exit onto the long fast bit, which you're now looking at. So you see this long fast bit now. Yep. Until you enter this bit where you can see into the distance, none of it is very fast. So it's all kind of medium to low speed 3rd gear. It's
all very slow and
yeah. So just don't even expect it to be fast because it's not. This bit's just a lift. So over Flugplatz here, flight place. It's just a lift.
Corner names, Flugplatz.
Completely flat out now, so just flat for ages, and you're now back at the bit where I first joined you. So this is the really, really fast section up to Swedenkreuz. People in the chat saying very decent for a first lap, which is correct. So you're going to just want to lift for this corner, but stay in 6th, but then get ready to brake hard for the hairpin right, down to 2nd gear. I'm just trying to basically keep up with where you are because you're 2 seconds ahead. Flat out all the way down the hill here. So this is Fuchsrohr, which is foxhole, because a fox hid somewhere here during the building process of the track. And it's flat out through the compression at the bottom, but as you raise up the hill, you're going to brake and go down a gear. And use the inside curb. And then go down another gear for this first tight right-hander. And then down another gear for the second tight left-hander. So a bit slower than you think. I
just damaged myself over the curb. That's a beautiful section.
That's not too bad. Everybody does that in real life as well, because you enter it quickly, and then it basically gets slower and slower and slower and slower until you get to the slowest point. So when you're going through that section, never expect it to get faster until you've got to the really slow bit.
That's the bit you said I damaged my curb on that bit.
Yeah, you're fine. So you're now at this tight bit, so really slow into this left. That's it. So everybody, because you can't quite see the apex, everybody tries that quicker than it is.
So you got to just remember that.
Yeah, so try and open it up. Try and go slightly wider for this left and go a bit slower than you think. That's it. That's much better because you've given yourself more of a racing line that time. Before, you were approaching that left-hander on the left, and that just screws you up. Okay, so you're now in Metzgersfeld, which is the field belonging to Mertges. And anyway, it's kind of a medium-speed left, but you've got to thread the needle, and then it's a tight left. So when you can see the pylon in front of you, it's a tight left. So down to 3rd or 2nd. Yeah, so that's just cold tyres. Whenever you need to reset there, you just remember you've got cold tyres. It won't do that. Okay. It won't do that when you're on a hot lap.
I wasn't considering that it's cold every time you reset. But
yeah, it is. Yeah, exactly. So here's your tight left where you weren't on the racing line that time.
Oh my god, I forgot. Sorry.
That's okay. The car's fine. It's only because you hit it hard last time that it was broken.
Oh, I don't know, Brad. I hit it pretty hard. Okay, so I will say, first impressions of it, it's never nice not knowing the track.
Yeah.
But it drives beautifully. It feels like a proper track, way more than I thought it would.
Once you know where you're going next, and that's my aim for this. My aim isn't to make you fast on this section. It's just so you've got some idea of what's coming next. Okay, so you're on this plateau called Metzgersfeld. Medium speed left, followed by a tight left when you can see the pylon. So there's the medium speed. It's just slippery because you've got cold tyres. Tight left, but go really slow because you've got cold tyres. I've crashed here in real life. And now it starts to drop downhill. So all this section until you get to the town is downhill. Tight right-hander, followed by a reasonably tight left-hander. This left-hander is actually quick when the tyres are warm, but it's not that warm at the moment. Now you've got 3 rights. So the corner is actually called 3 rights.
This, yeah.
So it's like apex, 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 but don't try it too quick. It's followed by the tightest corner on the track. So we're going down into veer siphon. Second gear, super, super slow. And you just got to basically pick your way through. Now it's flat out, though. So the moment you're out of veer siphon, it's flat out. And you're heading down to Brideside Bridge. You can remember that because it's a bridge. It's going to be slow in third gear. Don't hit the wall. There's no runoff at all. And then you go through Exmüller, Old Mill, Upper Hill. There used to be a water mill here. Looking really good. And now you're flat out through Lauder Links. So the Lauder left, Nicky Lauder's crash corner. It's flat out, but followed by a hairpin. So flat through the corner, brake hard for the hairpin, down to second gear, and it's a late apex. But once you've done this corner, and you got out of it, it's flat out all the way up the hill. Remember to stay tight left all the way up here for the moment. So it's like left, left, left. Then you can take a racing line, but it's all still flat out. That's perfect. Flat out through here. And you just take
the flat out bits.
Now, the good thing is to remember where the flat out bits are. You can then cancel them out in your mind. You don't need to think about them. So the next left isn't flat out. It's going to be a lift and 5th gear.
I think I was 1 left too early.
That's it. You got it. You got that time. And it's flat out over the crest through the next corner. If you thread the needle correctly, you've just got to pick the right line and not hit the curb.
I remember that
Now it's a hairpin right. So second gear, very, very tight, slow hairpin right. This is Style Strecker, and that's followed by the carousel. And just do the carousel slightly slower than you did last time. And you'll like drop into it and just go slowly through it in second gear. That's it. And just try and stay quite low. And you'll feel, the more you do it, the quicker you can go through it once you're in the groove. Okay, so you're going up the hill to the highest point on the track. It's 4th gear through the left, and then the next left. But then it's 3rd gear over the crest at the top of the hill. So just take it gently in 4th, and then over the crest you can go down to 3rd, stay in 3rd for the next little section. So you've just crested the highest point on the track, and now you're coming up to my favourite corner. It's the first of 3 chicanes. So 4th gear, this is Whipperman, which translates to seesaw man, because it means you're kind of going up and down. Next one is S-back. It's a bit longer, but it's still right, left, right.
Oh, crashed it last time. Sweet.
Yeah, you did it better. So just think of it again as the second bigger chicane. And once you're out of this one, which is nearly now, so through the right, you're out of the second chicane. The next one's a really big chicane, but it gets tight in the middle. So first corner here is more open, but then as you do the left part of the chicane, it suddenly gets tight. So just be careful through here. Pretty slow. You can use the curb at the apex just there, which is good. You then drop down the hill over the first jump.
Oh, I don't like this.
Brake before the jump, and then just take it easy through the corner. And then you're going to crest a blind crest. So you've got a left-hander followed by a blind crest. Once you go over the crest, it's flat out. But you've got to be on the right line. But this is good. Just pick your way through the curbs. Absolutely flat. You're doing really well. So this bit feels awesome in real life. You can feel your stomach going over these crests. First right is medium, and then it goes tight into a left-hander. So down to 3rd gear for this left-hander. Watch out for the gravel.
Okay.
Yeah, see, I didn't tell you early enough because I'm a bit behind. No, if I was sat next to you, I would have been telling you immediately
honestly,
when to brake.
I was so like into it. I was all like,
yeah, because that whole section over the blind crest, over Flansgarten 2, that's called, is awesome because you drop over the crest and then just keep your foot planted and just like hold your breath and pick your way between the curves, but you know it's flat out. So you're now going into the small carousel. So Kleiner carousel's coming up, so it's going to be 3rd gear but slow, so you're low in the revs in 3rd gear. Perfect. And then you've got Galgenkopf, which translates as hanging place. which is a long right-hander. This is the final right before the long straight. So remember, it's quite tight, but it opens up once you get through the first section. And it's flat out from now. So once you're kind of confident you're not at the tightest point anymore, flat out all the way, then you can rest.
Okay.
So, people are asking me, can I point out YouTube corner? Yep, I'll do that. Fried food at the Devil's Diner. Yep, you've heard me say that before. So on your right, Spanners, is the Devil's Diner, the red building. You can smell the chips here and the fried chicken and stuff. So as you're driving through here, you're like, nice fast food. That's where you turn off if you're doing a tourist lap.
Nice.
Yeah, people are saying really good for a beginner. And that I jinxed it. Yeah, doing well.
I have no, I'm a very ordinary kind of dad
So,
simulator.
remember, you're flat out through the first part of the chicane, and you brake once you go through the right-hander, and then you go down to second gear, ready for this second left-right. Then you're nearly at the end of your second lap. Final corner is just a 90-degree, pretty tight right-hander. And then we're on to the first corner again. So it's called T13, because Tribune 13 is the grandstand on your right. It's a tight left-hander in second gear. That drops you down to hats and back. First part of hats and back is really quick, and then it kind of gets slower and slower. So flat out through the first right,
I like this
nearly flat out through the second right.
Right, yeah, slow down too much.
And then flat out through the left, but then you're starting to get really slow after this. So down into third gear for these little chicanes, basically. And never expect it to be very quick. It's always kind of quick and then slow for the corners. You can use the curb on the right through there. That's cool, even though it's quite high. And then you've got a 90-degree right before it starts to open up. But just don't go quick until you can see that it's opening up. Which is just about after where you crashed. So you can see...
I heard the advice just in time to crash.
Yeah, that's okay. So basically just be cautious until you know you're on the fast bit, which is that. You know, you can see it. You know, you can see into the distance there. It's like, yeah, now it's fast.
That's a shame, because that was Sector 1 as well.
So you're going over Quiddlebacker, which is the bridge over the road to Quiddleback. And then you're rising up to Flugplatz, which is flight place. You can see because it's kind of like a jump. It's pretty quick through here. Once you're through Flugplatz, it's just flat out. So this is another one of those sections you can just discount in your head. It's just flat out all the way. Easy peasy, flat all the way through here. And you'll see it opening up. So Sector 1...
It's never fast, or it's always quite fast. Don't think it's going to be fast. Is that for the whole lap?
Different sections. Like, when you know it's fast, then you can go fast. So heavy braking for the hairpin, right? If you're not sure, it's probably slow. That's probably the best thing to go by. But it's flat out down the hill here, and it's flat out through the compression at the bottom. And this will scare the crap out of you in real life. When I eventually take you for a lap, this compression down here will scare you. But you brake as you go up the hill, use the curb on the left. But remember, it gets slower and slower through here. So now it's slower, and then the next one's even slower, and take the racing line for the left-hander, because it's the one where we keep going off. That's it. And then after you're through that, you're flat out for a little bit, because you're on this big plateau. So you can kind of see a castle in the distance, and you're just flat out. First left is reasonably fast, next one's slow.
I thought there'd be more like signs going, corner, don't die.
So this is a corner where you don't want to die. This is the one I crashed at in real life. And now you start to drop downhill, but the first corner's really tight. Then the second corner, which has got a nice big kind of dip in it, is a lot quicker than the first one. It's still got a big dip like that first one, but it's much quicker. Then you've got the 3 rights. So this is the 3 apex right. It's slower than it looks. And then you've got the slowest corner on the track, which is a right-hander followed by a left-hander. It's second gear, and just go super tight to the inside, really slow. Looking good. This opens up now down to the bridge, so you can smell the pizza in the village nearby because you're going down into the town of Adenau. It's slow over the bridge though. Third gear. Don't hit the concrete wall.
I went down 1 gear too many.
And that's why you lost the rear, but don't worry, keep going. And then you go up the hill here. So this is the old mill. There used to be a water mill there. In fact, it's still there behind the petrol station. Flat out through Nicky Lauder's left-hander, so this is Lauder Links.
And this is where we stay left? No.
And then you brake hard for the hairpin. Because the next section is the flat out uphill. So the moment you're through this hairpin, you're full throttle all the way up the hill, staying to the left.
That's the one, yeah. So it's louder and then that and then...
Yeah, once you've done louder, it's just flat out for ages and ages and ages. This is, in real life, it's easier to remember because you're going so steeply uphill. Hopefully the VR gives you some sensation that you're going really steeply uphill here for this whole section.
This is my son, Treeface's favourite car because of the sound and the feel of it. It's incredible.
Yeah, lovely V8. So the next left-hander is the 5th gear one. So here it comes. And then flat. As soon as you got the nose in, it's flat out. And then it's flat out through the next right-hander. You just got to be on the correct line. Just don't hit the curb. Then it's a hairpin right, second gear. So this is style Strecker, really, really slow hairpin right, followed by the carousel.
Survived.
Yep, really good. So you're just raising up the hill still. You're still getting higher and higher all the time at the moment. Second gear into the carousel. Once you've got it in and you know you're in the groove, then you can try and pick up the speed a bit without popping out of the banking. Pops out. Yeah, it's all right.
I swore on your stream.
That's okay. It's not a child-friendly stream. So yeah, you saw that's a good learning process though, because you can see it hugs you in, but if you go a little bit too quick out of the carousel, it'll just pop you out. So where are we at the moment? I think we're just raising back up the hill towards Style Strecker again. Yeah, so we're just coming up to the hairpin. Yeah. So you've gone like a few hundred meters back. Hairpin right, followed by the carousel. So it's quite good you get to practice that again. Just remember you got cold tyres, so carousel will be more slippery than it was before. So this is cool. Looking good. So you've got to wait. And at the last minute you go flat out. So you only pop out right at the end of the concrete, basically. Otherwise you understeer into the wall.
That feels amazing in VR.
You're approaching the highest point on the track. So this is her...
flat screens go up and down, side to side. No, I was dissing you and then I got distracted. Damn it. I should have concentrated on the track.
That's okay. I think you start quite near here, actually. I think you start at this corner. Yeah, so you're just... Oh, or are we all the way back where we were before? No, I think you're doing that same section again. So you get to practice it again. You're going to the hairpin at Style Strecker. So this is the flat-out right-hander that you have to thread the needle. Then you've got the hairpin right of Style Strecker. Then you've got the carousel.
That's good. I don't mind. Don't mind another go at that. That's one of the funnest bits.
Yeah, it just means you're getting to practice it over and over. But just remember, you're on cold tyres. It's better when you're on hot tyres. So second gear, slow in the carousel. Don't get on the power until you know you're not going to pop out until the end of the concrete, basically. And then you've got a flat-out left-hander, followed by a not flat-out left-right over the crest. So flat-out left here, and then just bear in mind the next bit gets slower. So it's fourth gear for the left, third gear for the right, stay in third gear over the crest and for the next right-hander. This is the highest point on the track, and from this point onwards, it's all downhill or kind of plateau. So you've got the 3 trees. You're about to go round the first tree. So first chicane, right, left, right. This is the 3 trees method taught to me by James Auld. So right, left, right. Next one again. Right, left, right around a tree, but a slightly bigger tree. So everything just takes that little bit longer. Right, left down a hill. And then right. People wanted me to point out where YouTube corner was. It's this one where you can see all the people stood on the left-hand side. So you got the third tree. Right, left, right around a bigger tree. And again, everything's longer. The corner is longer in the right and then longer in the left. And it's slower in this left because this is where it suddenly tightens up. And then you can ignore the 3 trees because that's finished. You're into the downhill section where you're going to go over the first jump and you brake before the jump. So this is Pflanzgarten or Plant Garden. Jump 1, brake before the jump. Nicely done. And then just kind of thread the needle up the hill. You've then got the blind crest, but remember it's flat out over the blind crest and all the section following it. This is where it's like a roller coaster. So totally flat. Hold your breath, thread the needle between the curbs, and just hang on, basically. And then you've got a medium speed right, followed by a third gear slower left. This is called Schwalbenschwanz. This means swallow's tail because it looks like a swallow's tail from above, apparently. Then the small carousel, which is slower than it looks. You're low in the revs in third gear. Then you've got Galgenkopf, the hanging place, which is kind of a long right-hander over a crest into the long straight. So it's just slow.
Name. The hanging place.
Yeah, they used to hang people on the right here. Public execution spot on the right-hand side because the castle is down here on the right. So down the long straight, you should, depending on your graphics level, be able to see the castle coming up on the right on the hill.
So yes, I can. That means I've got it turned up high.
Yep, and obviously in the copse of trees back there called Galgenkopf, that's where they used to hang people. So really good, dude. Really, really good. Let's see if we can do this next one without any crashes.
Roger.
Because then you'll get a lap time on the board. I don't know what your lap times are at the moment. You don't need to go slow. I'm just trying to keep up with being 2 seconds behind where you are. That's all.
Yeah, no, fair one. Okay.
So flat out into the left and the right, but once you're in the right, brake hard. and it's down to second gear before you get to the second right. Okay, final corner, 90-degree right, over the start-finish line, and then you're into T13, Tribune 13 is the corner. Tight left-hander as you drop down into the first of the hats and back corners. Okay, so flat out through the first right, then just a lift through the second right, but take the racing line. And then it's flat out through the left, and then it starts to get slow. So then you need to get down to third gear for these next corners. And remember, never go quick until you know you're on the big open section. So just kind of hold back. Every time you start to get quicker, hold back a little bit. And then you'll make it through the corners. So again, slow through this right-hander. And then as it opens up and you drop down the hill, then you can speed up. So now it's flat out over the bridge. So this is the best so far.
I had a little safety break through this.
It's flat out for ages now. So you're not actually completely flat up through the next right-hander, but it's very, very fast. So just a lift is all you need. And then totally flat. The moment you're through that first apex, flat out all the way. And you'll then start to see the terrain open up in the distance. You're heading up to Swedenkreuz, Swedish Cross, because the tax collector of Adenauer was murdered by a Swedish militia here. It's just a lift for the left-hander. And then you've got a hairpin right, which is second gear. So brake early and get all the way down to second gear. Don't go in the gravel. But once you're through this tight right-hander, it's flat out all the way down and up the hill. So it gets tight and squiggly, but it's flat out. So completely flat all the way down here. I love this bit because it just drops down a super steep hill, big compression, and then you brake as you go up the hill. This time, try and make the apex on the left. So brake down a gear, hit the apex on the left, and then it gets slower and slower. So down to third, and then down to second for the tight left. And take the racing line into the tight left.
So I need to come up
looking good, looking good. Yeah, that's really good, though. You're doing really well. Flat out through this short section. Then don't go flat out through the left-hander because the left-hander is kind of medium. And then the second left-hander is tight when you can see the pylon. So this is medium through here. And then when you can see the pylon, it's tight and third or second gear. And this is where I crashed in real life. And then down the hill, you got a tight right-hander followed by a more open left-hander. But they both kind of go through a dip like this. So big dip at first. Next one's like a stomach drops away from you dip as you go through here, but it's really quick. Then you've got the three rights, so apex, apex, apex. But don't try it too fast, otherwise you just understeer wide. Then you've got the tightest corner on the track, veer siphon, so just super slow second gear. And just try and take a short line through the left. Hug the left, basically. As soon as you're through that, though, flat out. And you drop down the hill to the bridge where you can smell the pizza, because you can see the hotels in front of you, so you know there's pizza and a bridge coming up. It's third gear, pretty slow.
Not second this time. Well done, me.
And then you can stay in third for this uphill right-hander. This is ex-Muller, Old Mill. Then it's Lauder's corner. And you know what comes after Lauder's corner?
Forgotten. But I know that...
Tight hairpin. Yeah, so it's a tight hairpin after Lauder links. And then it's the fast bit. So hairpin right. Then it's flat out for ages. So once you're more familiar with the shape of that, you'll do it a bit quicker. And you'll probably do it in third gear. But it's a really, really late apex, basically, because you've got a long, straight uphill section. So it's left, 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 left. And then once you see it open up slightly, then you take the racing line. So now it's racing line through here. And then it's flat out all the way until you get to the couple of left-handers coming up. The one which is an actual corner is the one you have to lift for. So you're flat out through the right, flat out through this kind of first left, and then it's lift down to fifth for the second left. But immediately flat out. So you're only lifting just to get the nose in, and then it's straight away to flat out. You can almost take it flat. Okay, next corner. Next corner is the hairpin right. So second gear hairpin right, style strecker. Then the carousel. So let's try not to have to do this section several times this time. Oof. So second gear, really slow into the carousel. Proper name is the Caracciola Carousel, named after Rudolph Caracciola, who supposedly did it first. Then you're going flat out up the hill, and you've got a flat out left, followed by a fourth gear slower left, and then third gear as you crest the highest point on the track. So slow for the first left, and then even slower for the right, over the crest of the hill, stay in third, you've got a 90-degree right. And then you've got the three trees. So remember, the three trees are the three chicanes, where you're going right, left, right, right, left, right. So first one's pretty open, and kind of like a small chicane, which I love. You can use the curb on the left and then on the right.
Chicane 1 done.
Yep, second chicane coming up, which is longer and a bit slower. This is a really, really famous part of the track. So as you do the right-hander, you've done the second of the chicanes. That's the YouTube corner where everybody watches from. Here's the third one. Long right. And then you start the left, but it gets really slow and chicaney in the middle of the left. So you kind of abort the 3 trees in the middle of the third one. Because you've got this little chicane where you can cut the curb if you want. Flat out down the hill into the first of the Flansgarten jumps. So Flansgarten 1, you brake before the jump. You can stay in this gear. And then just squeeze the gas as you get through the left. Wow. You're going over the blind crest. And it's flat out from here. Over the crest. Flat out for ages. Just thread the needle through the curbs. Keep it flat out. Really nice.
That's
okay.
Horrible. That's,
so
wow.
you've got a medium speed right-hander followed by a tighter left-hander where people crash. So tighter left down to third. Then you've got the small carousel, which again is third gear but low in the revs. So expect the revs to be low. That means you've got to slow right down. Then you've got hanging corner, Galgenkopf, the hanging place, which is the long right-hander. So you make the first apex, and then you kind of bleed off the gas. The next time, just try and apex at the first one. That'll then naturally bleed you wide, and then it's flat out all the way. So once you've kind of gone wide in the middle, because you've apexed early, you then get flat out, and you're flat out all the way down the straight. And you can see the castle on the right. I'm being told to increase the engine sound, so I'm going to just do that. Okay, so obviously, flat out under the bridge, flat out down the hill, flat out into the left, into the right, but the moment you're into the right-hand part, that's when you brake. This is great, dude. I don't want to jinx it, but you've managed this far without crashing on this lap. So this is like, I don't even know if you've got any X's.
Now, hang on, Brad Steve, it's not my fault now.
So flat out through the left and the right, but then brake the moment you're through the right and get down to second gear, ready for the next left-right. And it's slow into this second right.
I could probably
and you've got the final 2 corners. Final corners tight. So what's the lap time as you cross the line? What is it? What did you do? What was the time?
Oh, sorry, am I meant to tell you? 7:06.
Okay, that's not bad.
What's yours?
6:36 we did earlier.
So I'm only 30 seconds off.
Well, only 30 seconds off. Okay, so I'm gonna shut up just for a minute.
No, I'm dead.
That's okay. You can just restart from this section. The reason I wanted to shut up was because I wanted to see how much you already know, so I can start toning back those bits.
Roger.
So you're starting at turn 1. So you're at the exit of the pits at turn 1.
It's really narrow.
Yeah, it is a bit narrow. I'm just going to try and bring up the overlay so I can see the lap times.
Okay, so the first bit here, everything is rubbish. Don't expect anything to open up.
Yeah, it's gonna be cold tires, remember. But the first right hand is flat. The second right hand is just a lift. Then it starts to get slower. I'm just opening some overlays, so I'm not talking for a moment.
Need the racing line on.
No, we don't. We're not those people. Okay, so remember, you can only go fast when it opens up. And as soon as you can see it's opened up, you know you're in a long, flat-out section. So, I'm not going to talk for a moment. I'm just bringing up more overlays.
Okay, there's a hairpin coming up at some point to the right.
After the fast left. Yeah, once you're on the fast left, then you got the hairpin.
And then we go down into a compression-y bit.
Yep. And remember, as you go up the hill after the compression, you brake, go down a gear, and use the inside curb, and then it gets slower and slower and slower from there. So just try and turn a bit earlier as you go up that hill next time, so you can really hit the curb. Then you're down to second gear for the corner where everyone goes off.
Yep. Oh, no.
So yeah, just in your mind for that whole section, once you've gone through that compression at the bottom of the hill, Just try and picture it as every corner that comes after is slower than the previous one, and slower and slower and slower until you get down to second gear, and then it'll flow really nicely.
One thing I've always because it would be obvious if you had damage in real life. I wish there was just like a bar that would just go, "Hey, dude, you've ripped your suspension." Okay, down towards the town.
Yep, you're in that section. You're in that section.
And, you brought it to life for me with your visualization.
This is the idea.
People while eating pizza.
Yep. So you're nearly at the pizza, but not quite yet. You've got to do the 3 rights and the slowest corner on the track first. And the moment you're through the slowest corner on the track, then it's the pizza smell with the bridge through the town. So you've got to slow for the bridge.
Don't spin here. Like you did
yeah,
before.
don't hit the concrete wall. You see, when you approach this in real life, it's so terrifying because the wall is right there and it's really downhill. So you stay in third for the uphill section here.
Ah, gosh, damn it.
That's okay. I don't think the car's too broken. It's just whether your steering's broken.
No, steering's fine.
Okay, so then Lauda corner. Nicky Lauda's left where he crashed, followed by a hairpin right, and then the really fast section. But this time, try it in third and turn in really late. So do a really, really late apex.
I turned in too early by
the
third bit. I'll get another go at it.
Yeah, you get another go. So still don't try and do it fast. You still want to do it super slow, but do it so you're now at the corner just before the Lauda corner. So you're on the bridge, basically. If you look to your left, you'll see the bridge. So you're in Old Mill, ex-Müller. And then you're going to go through Lauda links, and then it's the hairpin, but it's just not quite as tight a hairpin as you think, but it's just a really late turn in. So stay to the left, go down to third, wait. So you've already peeled off from the left way too early, but that's fine. So we'll just work on that next time. The aim of this wasn't to get you perfect in the lines, it was just so you know what's coming up.
Experience it, learn the track. I mean, normally by now, I'd have learned a GP track.
Yeah, of course, of course. And obviously flat out all the way through here.
Obviously.
You're doing really, really well. This is mega.
Okay, I don't need your pity.
And so remember, you've got a fast left and then the lift to 5th gear left. But only lift briefly and then get back on the gas. Nice. Nice. But you still made it. You still made it. And you had some room to spare. Then it's the hairpin. So 2nd gear hairpin. Followed by carousel. I'm glad you're experiencing this in VR, because you're getting the elevation change, which you don't get on my flat screens. So very slow into the carousel.
Do you miss that, the elevation in the VR?
No, but only because I'm expecting it anyway. So like my brain's filling in the blanks.
But like when you do banking, you feel like you're tipped over.
Yeah. Okay, so you've got the slightly slow left followed by the slower right and over the crest of the highest point on the track. Stay in 3rd gear for this bit, and then you're up to the 3 chicanes, or the 3 trees.
All
you
right,
picture those.
Right, left, right.
Yep, so use the curb on both sides there. It's really flat.
So this is chicane 2.
Yep, you're in the middle of it, and then as you exit it, you're at YouTube corner.
And then here we go, right, left, right again.
Yep. But remember, in the 3rd one, it actually isn't really right, left, right. It's right, left with a chicane, and then you finish that section. But it just helps you visualize it. So by the time you're here, it doesn't matter. So flat out down the hill, the first of the 2 jumps. The first one is a proper jump. The second one's just like a blind crest. So you kind of curve round through the left-hander, but once you're going over the crest, it's then flat out for ages. Nicely held, flat, flat, flat for ages and ages. Roller coaster section where your stomach goes over and over and over. And then you've got a medium right into a tightish 3rd gear left. Then it's the small carousel. And then it's
slower than I think.
You got it. This is why I try and repeat, because you do take it in. Then you've got hanging corner, Galgenkopf, which is you've got to make the first apex and then blend wide in the middle. So I'll try and remind you earlier next time. and then you try and make the apex again near the end, and then it's flat out all the way. So you've got an early apex, and then you go wide, and then a late apex, and then it's onto the long straight.
There's a castle on the hill up there.
Ed Sheeran.
Is that Ed Sheeran song?
Yeah.
Castle on the hill. Oh.
Yep.
Right, and then we're getting towards the end of the lap.
Yep, so do you remember when you brake?
Nope.
So you brake once you've gone down, under the bridge, through the compression, into the left, into the right, then you brake. So you basically do the first bit and then brake. And then you've got another left-right where you're down to second gear. And then the final two corners.
I was too binary on the brakes. That time I was able to blend it a bit. Can I do first here?
I don't think you need first. Definitely second. There's no first gear corners on this track. Okay, so first part of Hats and Back is fast. Then you've got the just lift. And then it's fast again through the left-hander, but then you have to start slowing down and everything's third gear and slow. And you can use second if you need to, to help it slow down. That's it, you're just kind of like easing it through here. You've got the 90 right and then a 90 left. And then it's flat out. So next time I'm going to try and remind you that the 90 left is important to be slow into because the 90 right you need to be slow into because the left is the important bit because it leads onto this flat out section. Just a lift for this right hander. And then it's flat out for ages.
I forgot to put my fan on. I'm cooking. We're boiling the bag spanners.
Sorry, dude. Okay, so you've got just a lift for the left-hander. This is where the tax collector was murdered by Swedish militia. Then the hairpin right of Arenberg. And then it's Foxhole. And you can kind of think of it as a hole because you've got the compression at the bottom. So flat out down into Foxhole. Or Fuchsrohr. Okay, so this time as you go up the hill, remember you brake down a gear and it's an early turn-in so you can hit the curb on the inside and it gets slower and slower and slower. So brake down a gear, early turn-in, and then slower and slower. So down to fourth and third, and then second for the really tight left.
Why didn't I listen to you?
Every time it's slower than you think it is. And that's why everybody crashes there. People just go straight across that all the time in real life.
Is that a car wrecker?
No. The bit where people understeer off, the curb's quite smooth. Okay, so once you see the pylon... Yes, exactly. Pylon, then it's third gear and slow. And then you start to drop down towards the town, so you just got to remember this section on the way to the town. Trumpets is impressed with you in the chat. So I could see as you were approaching that you hadn't remembered it was the slowest corner on the track. But I wanted to let you experience the suddenness of it.
I muted you and then I got confused trying to unmute you. So I put my mute Discord button way too close. Woo! How's it going so far, Coach? How are we getting on?
It's really good. Yeah, it's really...
It's me too much yet.
No, not at all. Everybody's praising you highly, actually. Because you're going for very long periods without making any significant mistakes. It's just, you're doing exactly what people do in real life when they destroy their cars, which is think they know a bit, and then they get there and it's like, oh no, not quite yet. I'm not at that bit just yet. So just remember, after the 3 rights, it's the slowest corner on the track.
I'm having fun though. I think it would get frustrating if you didn't have someone taking you through the course. No.
Yeah, concrete wall. Yeah, exactly. So once you know it, suddenly it's like, yes, and every time you do the next one, you're like, yes, it was the one I thought it was. Then you get into an awesome flow because it's so up and down, and it feels so quick because there's so much scenery around you and so many hills and so many barriers and stuff. So then it'll feel awesome.
Then a hairpin.
Yes, and remember, it's a really late apex, so stay on the white line on the left for ages. Just wait, much longer than that even.
Okay, cool. But I'm getting longer.
Yeah. And it takes ages. Everybody cocks that one up.
then stay left until it opens up. And then
exactly. And it's all flat out.
I'm being a good student.
You're being a really good student. And then obviously it's flat out up this hill, and it's flat through the first left, a brief lift and fifth gear for the second left, but get straight back on the gas once you've got the nose in. And it's flat. Perfect. Awesome. No, go on.
Lift again.
Flat through the right-hander. Flat through the right-hander. Keep your foot down. Easy. And then it's a hairpin right.
Had you not said hairpin right there, I was in that caravan.
Normally, when you've been going flat out for ages, you're approaching a really tight corner. So, carousel, tight left-hander.
I knew that was the carousel. I should have pressed the button and shown off.
And then you've got this kind of fiddly bit where you go flat out through a left, and then it gets slower and a little bit slower through the next left and right. So your fourth gear through the left, then third gear through the right, over the crest of the hill at the highest point on the track. It's actually not technically the highest point in the track, but for our purposes it is. And then you know what the next bit is?
No, I'm lost.
The 3 chicanes.
Ah, okay, cool.
And that's why we learn it as a group, as a section, because you now know exactly what I mean by those 3 chicanes. You just need to know where they are.
Down into YouTube corner.
Exactly, and you know it's that because there's a car park with camper vans and loads of people watching. And the third of the 3 chicanes around the tree.
Lots of green on the tires.
Good. Remember, it's just a bit slower in the middle of the third chicane than you think it is. And now you open up to the jump section. So you've got the first jump, which is little but significant. And then the second one, which is after the long left-hander. So just be a bit careful through this left-hander coming up. This is the bit that can catch you out. It's a bit tighter than you think. But the moment you're through the left, it's flat. Over the crest, flat. Through the chicanes, flat. Thread the needle between the curbs. Flat all the way. Awesome. Then you've got a medium speed right-hander followed by a slow left-hander. Down to third for the left. So it's just slightly slower than you expected, that's all.
Every corner name translates to slightly slower than you expected. I've got some Austin Powers going on. You there, Brad? I lost you.
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just waiting for you to turn around. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I just keep accidentally muting you. I've got to change my mute button position.
Anthony says, to sell spanners, he was really funny in the USGP review pod. Great stuff.
Ah, great.
Okay, so apex at the first apex, then run wide, and then apex at the end. So you missed it again, but that's okay. We'll get it next time. I was probably too late telling you.
Okay.
And this is where you take a drink from your drinks bottle, you talk to your team, and you relax for a bit.
My local friend was having a chat with a family friend, and he was talking about his friend Richard, so talking about me doing stuff. And this guy works as a McLaren engineer. And he's like, that's not spanners, is it? Because he said, oh, my friend does an F1 pod. It turns out a bunch of the McLaren engineers tune in to Missed Apex.
That is really cool. That is really cool.
And probably this stream too.
Okay, next time we get to the Dottinger Herd, that long straight, I'm going to play the Spanners Halloween intro again for anyone who missed it the first time. Right, let's see if we get a clean lap that's slightly quicker than the 706. If we can break into the 6-minute somethings, I'll be so pleased. So second gear for the final corner. And it's a similar corner as turn 1. Downhill, second gear, left-hander. Right, I'm going to be on the ball this time. Okay, so first part of Haxon back here, flat out. Then the second right-hander is just a lift, but it's still super fast. Then it's flat out through the left. Then it starts to get slow. So after this section, it's all third gear and slow. So get down to third and just be gentle through here. That's fine. Car's still fine. Keep going. Didn't even feel it. Use the curb in the right-hander and then just pick your way gently through the left. You've got another 90 right and left, but go slow through the right. Otherwise, you'll be crap in the left. That's it. So slow right means a great left. That's the best you've done it. Flat out down the hill. See how it kind of drops down into this section then?
Yep.
So you're flat out over the bridge. So take a short line. Then get all the way to the left-hand side, ready for this next corner, Flugplatz. But you don't need to brake. Just the smallest of lifts, and then flat out again. Flat, 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 all the way. Lovely. Right, now it starts to open up. You'll see the track open up in front of you once you go through this left. Lovely sunrise here during the 24-hour race. You can see it rising over the hills. So you've got a lift for the left-hander. This is Swedenkreuz. Then the hairpin. You got it. Hard on the brakes, down to second gear for this hairpin. And then you've got Foxhole. Remember what you do through Foxhole?
Yeah, you brake slightly at the top of it.
Yeah, so flat out down through the compression, all the way down the hill and back up the hill. But halfway up the hill, you brake, down a gear, an early turn in to use the curb on the left. Just brake, down a gear, over the curb, then brake again, down another gear, and keep slowing down more and more and more, because it's really, really tight in second gear at the tightest point. And yes, that's much better. So it kind of forced you wide, because you kind of cocked up the first bit. But that was better. So flat out through this plateau. Okay, then you've got a medium speed left, and then when you can see the pylon, that's when you brake and go down to third. So here comes a medium speed left. Really easy to crash here. Then brake down to third gear, really slow, so it's lowering the revs through here, like at the Kleiner Carousel. Then you drop down the hill. You're starting to drop down towards the town, but you've got a few sections to navigate first. So slow right-hander, followed by a pretty quick left-hander with a dip. And then it's the three rights. So flat now through the dip. Three rights, which are not flat. Exactly. After the three rights, it's the slowest part of the track. So second gear, super, super slow. It's a tight, short line through the left-hander here. Because the moment you're facing out of here, you're flat out again. And you're flat heading down towards the town. You can smell the pizza. Yep, you can see the hotels. But brake early and get down to third gear for the bridge.
Concrete.
Yep, don't hit the concrete wall. Then stay in third gear for uphill section. A little brake. Cool. Then it's Lauda corner. Nicky Lauda's left-hander, so flat out through the Lauda links.
Hairpin, and it's a late entry.
Yeah, really late turn-in for the hairpin, but make sure you're going slow. So just stay to the left. So down to third gear, stay left, just follow the edge of the track. So we'll stay much later than that next time, but this is fine for our purposes. We don't need to be perfect. And then you stay left, left, left all the way up the hill.
That gained a lot of time though, so I think that was the best one so far.
Yeah, this is great. This is great. Then it opens up. Nice racing line through here. So when you get to the couple of left-handers that are coming up, the first one is flat. The second one is a tiny brake down to fifth gear. You nearly crashed here last time though, so just be slightly careful through the left. That's fifth gear. Nice, nice. Then flat out through the next one, but get to the left of the track so you can do it on the racing line. There you go.
That's a lift, sorry.
Then it's a hairpin right. Hairpin right.
Yeah, I know. I saw the motorhome that I would have hit last time if it didn't.
Awesome. Yeah, so well done. Then it's the carousel, which is always slower than you think. And stay tight to the bottom until you can see it really start to open up. So you probably want to be on the banking a bit more next time, but that's fine. And then you've got the fast uphill section, flat out through the left, but then it's not flat out through the next left. And then you go over the crest at the highest point of the track. So you go down to fourth for the left, down to third for the right, and then stay in third for the right after the crest. Then it's the chicanes, the three chicanes coming up. And in this first one, remember, you can use the apex curb and then the apex on the exit here. That's it. Cool. Then the next one is the tighter one, slightly longer and tighter. This is S-back, but also YouTube corner as you exit. And then the third of the three, which is longer and tighter. And remember, the middle bit of this corner, so the left-hander is really tight, but you can use the curb that kind of pokes out. So you can kind of cut across that curb there that pokes out.
Roger, got it.
Okay, then you've got the jump section. So you go down the hill, first jump, where you brake just before the jump, and then take it pretty gently through the right-hander. And then you've got the blind left, where you just have to be a little careful before the flat-out section. Oh! Oh, nice save! You can save it! No! Oh, no!
No, got it.
That's a section you haven't crashed at before. I don't think you've done it quite like that before.
I can always find new places to crash, don't worry.
So this is the flat out over the crest section. Flat out, thread the needle, all flat. That was a bloody good lap though, Spanos, up until that point.
Yeah,
I'm well impressed. well impressed. Oh, you've got to get under 7 minutes. I'll be so pleased if you can get under 7 minutes. You might want to reset the car, though, if you want another crack at it, so you've got a fully fixed car for the next one.
Okay, cool. Hang on. What's time?
Yeah, you can go whenever you need to. Don't feel like you have to stay.
Oh, no, it's more taking your time and, like, boring.
I'm here on my own, and the stream are loving it. People saying this makes me want to order the sim rig now.
Well, I tell you what, guys, having the Philpot in your life is a massive unfair advantage.
Someone says, does this guy have a YouTube channel? Yep, so it would be the Missed Apex channel. People saying this must be fun during the 24-hour race at night.
Missed Apex Motorsport.
Someone earlier mentioned that you've got a direct drive wheel, but you're just a dad racer.
Yeah, well, I'm a dad racer who does like streaming with iRacing, has an iRacing pod, runs iRacing events, and I'm a bit obsessed with it. But yeah, but the real unfair advantage is having the coaches in my little podcast empire that constantly tell me how to be fast. I remember that. Do you remember that one at Buckmore where we had this cheeky practice session before our tournament, and you took me through and took about 1.5 seconds off my time?
Yep. Right, I'm going to shut up for this lap, but just ask me if you're not sure what's coming next. And like, you know, it might help to talk yourself through the lap as well, or it might distract you. Do whatever's best. Okay,
yeah, it's just pressing a button, isn't it? It's just a push to talk.
Okay, I'll try and remind you when the really tight ones are coming up.
Turn 1.
Yeah, good luck. I'll keep quiet most of the time.
Wait for it to open up in section 1. So everything's a bit slower than you think.
Live stream. I'm not talking to Spanish now, but I'm holding onto my wheel, gripping it as if I'm driving.
This is the one that had to call me out a couple of times. $90, stay right, because it's going to be a 90 degrees left.
Yeah, well done, well done. Now flat out for ages. Once you've gone over the bridge, stay to the left because you've got just a lift for the next one that's at the top of the hill. You can't see it coming, but it's just a lift. Then flat out for ages.
Yeah, I got through that. That was the first bit.
Yep, that's section 1. That's section 1 done, so that's really good.
I haven't necessarily learned the whole track. I'm learning the bits that are going to catch me out.
Yep. So lift for the left, then followed by the hairpin.
Yeah, I'm quite comfortable with this one. At least you can see that one coming. I like that.
Yep.
So now we're going to do compression, and then this is the one halfway up there.
Yep.
We're going to drop down 1 gear and try and use the inside curve.
Exactly. Yeah, try and apex at the top of the uphill bit, but then it gets slower and slower and slower and slower. And then even slower for the really tight left. And even slower than you expect.
Line, but survive.
That's okay. You can do it doing it tight as long as you're going appropriately slowly. You know, so you can do it only doing a tiny racing line as long as you really slow the car down. So medium left followed by the pylon corner, which is slower. So low revs in 3rd gear. Where Brad crashed in real life. Now you're dropping down to the town.
Yeah, we're heading towards the town.
This left-hander now is a bit quicker than you think, but then it's followed by the 3 rights. Yeah, so we'll do that downhill one a bit quicker. Yep, after the 3 rights. So no, Darren, I don't think I can get my ghost up for spanners. Pizza, concrete wall, etc.
It's the bits with the visibility. It's easy to recognise it. 3rd up the hill.
Yep. Nicky Lauder.
So we've got our left, which is a small lift, and then into a hairpin.
No, flat out through the left. Flat out through the left, then into the hairpin.
Apex right.
Yep, you got it. That's awesome, Spanners. Really good line. Good line.
Corporate lift through there, but...
Yeah, good line, though. That was good.
I'm tired. I was driving 6 hours just before this.
Doing really well, man. Gregunech says, just want you to know I've been binge listening to Missed Apex. Missed Apex iRacing podcast.
Yes, and I believe that we raced together yesterday in the F3, Gregunech.
Okay, so remember, you've got a flat out left followed by a 5th gear slight lift left. And then it's flat out through the right-hander that's coming up, but make sure you use the racing line, so left and then right. Then it's the hairpin.
Hairpin, yeah. I'm starting to get to the point where I will recognise things coming up. Carousel.
Yep, you got it. And try and be on the banking rather than under it, if you see what I mean. So try and stay on the concrete bit. That's better.
Oh my god,
that's better.
Amazing.
Much better. Okay, flat out left, and then it starts to get a bit fiddly and slower. So you go down to 4th for the next left, and then 3rd over the crest.
Oh, that took some holding.
Yeah, well held. So stay in 3rd through here. Now we've got the 3 chicanes, or the 3 trees method. Here they come.
And on the second chicanes, use the apex
You're on the first one at the moment, but yeah, curbs, curb. Now it's the second one.
Okay, down to YouTube corner. And then I'm starting to think about the other chicanes where it's the left-hander at the end is a bit slower than you think.
Guys, the reason I can't get the telemetry on the screen is because this is Spanner's driving, not me. So I can't get his telemetry up. I can only have my telemetry. So the interesting thing there is it's just a different place. We just went in a little bit too quick, but that's because you're getting much more confident that you know where you are.
I should have stayed off the mic instead of trying to be all contented. So that must happen all the time in races though, and people are like, oh yes, I got away with only losing 11 seconds.
Yep. Yep. We've won races where my teammate has spun a couple of times, and we've certainly finished on the podium when I've touched the barrier and stuff before. Like, you just need to minimise the losses.
I had one of those moments there where I went, I don't know where I am, but I've been going fast for ages. Oh no! Oh, Brad, what have we been doing now? I've been going about an hour.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You can stop anytime. I can go and eat my dinner. But I'm just really pleased at how well you have been doing, because without just a couple of minor like spins or whatever, you'd have smashed under 7 minutes easy. And you definitely know what's coming next in certain places. It almost feels like you need to go away and like let it process.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And then, or even maybe like watch one lap of a YouTube video of it for real on a GT3, and then come back and do it again like in a few days or something. But that was really good.
You've given me enough there to get on with, and it's like once the section starts, I know what's happening. So once I get into the chicanes, I know what's happening. Once I get into that end bit, I know what's happening. And then as we're going down to the town. So what I need is a target there of what I should get to after my next private hours session.
Will you do another session like that?
Yeah, I'll sit and do it on my own. I bought the track now. How much? 17 quid or whatever.
Okay. Oh, Trumpet says this means a map Nordschleife endurance is coming.
Actually, that has been the case, but it's more that, as my friend, you have been talking to me about the Nordschleife for so long, and I've consistently said, no, it's too long and rubbish. But when you break it down into sections, actually, it is a little bit, it's less intimidating than I thought it would be, because you've got me through it. But it just takes a bit of work. Like, you do have to put some thought into learning that track.
And if anyone else wants to learn the sections, just head to my most popular YouTube video guides. Learn the Nürburgring in under an hour.
Are you going to put a link in those show notes, and then we...
Yeah, so once this video is processed, I'll put like the automatic links along the top that pop up every so often. I'll put a link in the description as well. I'm just going to play the Spanners Halloween intro again, because it took me so long and I've only played it once. There we go. Hopefully everyone can see that. You're a vampire, and you pop up on screen as a vampire, Spanners. The file name is Spanpire. Right. Anyway, are you happy with that now that you're done? Because I'll end the stream.
Yeah, no, I'm delighted. I'm delighted with that. Tell you what, I could even, if you're up for it, Brad, I'll do a little bit more of a session myself, and then if you want to jump on a stream for half an hour and see how I've improved as a follow-up, I'm more than happy to do that.
What, today?
No, not today.
Oh, whenever. Yeah, okay then, whenever.
Scotch your clock. I'm thinking like sometime next week.
Okay, well, I'm in the south of France most of next week, but I'll be back on Friday night, so the weekend, maybe.
Super. Thanks, Brad. Stream, Missed Apex podcast.
Thanks.
Go check us out.
Thanks, stream. Thanks for watching, and see you again soon. I won't be streaming for a few days, but next week after I've come back from the south of France. Bye!